Happy Friday the 13th. I am Jazz, and this is All That Jazz Recovery Podcast. I thought I would read from the daily meditations today, and it's February 13th. So yeah, Friday the 13th this year. And last year, this time, I actually had my divorce finalized. And that's kind of ironic in a way for me, because in relationship, addiction recovery, I just thought it was hilarious how that all got finalized on Valentine's Day. In a way, I think it was kind of a gift. Now, it seems like I'm smirking and laughing, but it's just, we were broken up for a really long time. I've done a lot of grieving and healing. It's something that I can talk about now. Like, I'm open about it. And so I just think this is just one of those ways that my higher power works in my life. Last year on February 14th was when I got my divorce papers finalized. And I just, it was kind of a gift because it was it was a domestic situation. And the one court thing that I didn't have to pursue myself, my ex did. And so it's actually kind of felt like a gift because I didn't have to have any participation in it. It just happened and I okayed it. So, kind of cool. I'd say that was one of my gifts of recovery. But anyways, we're going to reverse from the 14th to the 13th because today is the 13th. So here we go. This is the daily meditations for Coda. So here we go. In this moment, I'm growing. The divorce, oh my God, divorce. This is hilarious. Okay. The divorce became final a year ago. Oh my God. This can't be happening. It was a painful split. However, I have felt the pain and worked on letting it go. Today, my life has taken on new energy and I see a bright future. I still get twinges of pain when I walk through the men's department. I want to stop and browse and buy him something. I haven't looked at greeting cards for a long time. Recognizing these habits as triggers of pain has been a huge part of my growth. Instead of walking into a situation that will bring more pain, I make other choices. I change my thoughts as well. I know that I am being healed because the pain isn't as excruciating. Thanks to the 12 steps, I feel stronger and more serene. Okay, this is no joke. Before I even read this year, I just told you about my divorce going through, and then literally it talked about divorce on Valentine's Day. So, totally getting tingles right now. But that was just such a trip. I can't believe it. But, that's the thing. When my, this relationship stuff, let's get to an intimate moment here. Okay. When our relationship ended, and the thing that crushed me was that I always wanted a family my whole life, this dream togetherness, because I probably wanted to fix something from childhood, but I had this idea, this destination that if I get married and have kids, my life is going to be great. And so when I got married and had kids and was with this person and it wasn't great, I was very devastated. I was devastated that my life wasn't turning out the way that I wanted it to. I didn't know how to handle that kind of pain and disappointment. And I took it out in a lot of ways. I was also drinking a lot, and that this marriage was awful. And the thing is that I was really sad that it wasn't the fantasy and the idea that I wanted. I attached my whole everything. I put so much on that idea that if I get married and have kids, everything's just going to work out for me. That was just the answer for everything. I was I'm just going to do what all the older people do and they all look happy and I'm just going to do that and I'm going to have this great life too. And everything's just going to come in. And, I was very naive and young-minded, thinking that that's all it took to have a relationship, was to just have the blocks together, just to have the pieces. And it's so much more to have a relationship and a marriage. And my problem was I didn't have good sense of self. I didn't have good sense of safety. I didn't take my time in picking this person. I picked this person in a really traumatic time in my life. I was drunk. There was lots of reasons why I picked this person and this relationship and was in it, that for the way that it turned into. And so when that relationship ended, I don't think I was so much missing the person as I was missing the idea of a family being together. Like, I just was obsessed with wanting that whole family picture and having them show up and having us have this great together marriage, and it wasn't that. And so I was very upset for a long time because of that, that bubble being popped, like that was over. And I grieved that for a long time. So relationships are really tough. And, for a long time I felt awful that I was breaking our family up and taking, me and the little ones were leaving. And, and before I even did any healing on that, I managed to get myself to rehab. But then before really working on that relationship stuff and that inner stuff, I went and got another relationship and then did it again. So I definitely have, feel shame for that, but I don't carry that shame with me. I just, it's just uncomfortable. So, Valentine's Day, I still believe in love. I still believe that it's possible. I am really grateful for the family that I do have today. I love my little boys. I love the time that we have together. We have a great home life, and I have peace in my life today. And I think, when you work so hard in your life and then you finally get to that point where you get real peace and you get real love with yourself and you become getting in a really good spot with yourself. I don't know. I don't think there's a way that someone could ever take that away again. I don't think I can give my peace away again like I used to, after all of this kind of healing that I've done with my relationship work and my codependency. So I still love all of the holidays of the year, and I love celebrating, and I still believe in love, even though I have not had healthy love. I have had love in all the wrong places. I have had trauma bond love. I've had drunk love. I've had not good, my what I thought love was when I was younger was distorted from the beginning. I didn't really I wasn't really taught, because the love when I was a child was so inconsistent, and the push and pull and the pulling in and pushing away, that intermittence affected me. It made it normal for me, or that was what love was. And so as I got older, I was just naturally pulled into, kind of chaotic and toxic situations. My caretaker came out, my fixer attitude came out. I was drawn to avoidant people to trying to get those breadcrumbs, because I knew that's what it was like when I was a child, was trying to bargain to get those breadcrumbs to feel lovable, because I was not feeling lovable, right? So this stuff runs deep, and that's what code is about, it's getting to the root of stuff. And I don't blame my caregivers, I don't blame my parents. They didn't have certain things either. So, but really understanding this stuff, really understanding myself, why I do the things I do, it does give me a bit of awareness to not do the same things in the future. and to be more careful and to go slower, and that I am lovable. Like I've had this belief my whole life that I'm not lovable, and then trying to go get loved by people who just give me breadcrumbs. Like that's not a good place to go get love, you know? And the best place to get love is to have the love inside myself first, and then with my higher power. You know, I can't give what I don't have. I can't. Like, so I say, like, I recommend, like, you know, for anyone that's, you know, for me, it's like, I find the best thing to do is to really work on yourself, and that right person will be attracted to that person that you are, and that you are worth it, and that it is still possible. So I still believe in Valentine's Day. I hope everybody has an amazing Valentine's Day. And it's possible to heal, but what I think love is can be a bit distorted because of just those first, you know, maybe that first decade there of really learning about, like, what my first exposure to love, right? It's going to be in the home. And what does love look like? What does that relationship look like? And that's what I'm going to think love is. And then if I grow up, I'm going to go and get that just the way I got it when I was a kid. So it's very important to pay attention to the way, you know, we treat our kiddos. But in my case, that's what happened to me. And I now have learned better to, you know, because of the emotional neglect, it's like because I now reparent myself and my inner child, I now fill up the emotional needs here, which means I'm not going out there to people who can't give it. And I'm also not attracting those emotional available people anymore either. And I can actually see them now because I became emotionally available. But you cannot see who the emotionally unavailable people are until you become emotionally available. Okay, just gonna leave it at that. I love you guys. I will talk to you later, and happy Valentine's Day and happy divorce for me. Okay, bye.